Some 18 months after it was originally supposed to release, Daniel Craig's final outing as James Bond is finally here. And it's safe to say that No Time to Die was mostly worth the wait. This entry in the franchise ends Craig's 15-year tenure as 007, but it doesn't reach the euphoric highs of Casino Royale and Skyfall, sadly. But then again, it's easily superior to Quantum of Solace and Spectre, landing somewhere in the middle, so it's not really a bad film. But more importantly, No Time to Die gives Craig's Bond a full-hearted send-off, and brings the entire whole 5-film arc to a fitting end. But that's not to say that some of the creative decisions here will divide the fanbase. Though after 25 core films, it's not going to please everyone, is it? And hopefully we won't be waiting quite so long for the next spy outing. Seriously, we went far too long without 007. And with that anyway, I'm Roy, Ben Roy, and let's get to the review. By far the biggest downer of the entire movie has to be its villain. In any way you slice it, Sarif, played by Rami Malek, is a dull, generic Bond antagonist with an uninterested motive. Sure, the filmmakers delivered us a Bond villain that's all too familiar, but it doesn't really land. He's kind of on the same level as Green from Quantum of Solace, where they both were really just in the background and there to deliver the plot, which really gives us vibes from Dr. No, but thankfully this isn't a remake. You really have to feel sorry for Malek here, as he's such a talented actor and should have more to do, but it almost just seems like he's here to put his name on the poster, as No Time to Die is more about Bond's personal journey than saving the world, and for a film that otherwise put so much more effort into making this feel epic, Sarif is just basically there. And then there's the length. No Time to Die comes in at 163 minutes and is by far the longest Bond film to date. And considering how blockbusters these days just keep getting longer and longer, we didn't really need a Bond film pushing 3 hours now, did we? And this film is by no means a slog, even though that in the middle it just kind of slumps for a bit. And the pre-credit sequence comes in at 20 minutes, which is the longest in Bond history. So yeah, this one really doesn't earn its epic runtime. There are so many subplots crammed into the middle of this one, which could have easily been streamlined or ditched entirely. It would have made for a better story. Again, Bond's journey here is such a personal one, it just seems weird to have Rami Malek in there as the villain. We could have even had a first and not focused on the villain at all, and just had Blofeld in a cage somewhere. That way there could have been a more cohesive story. And the last low point of the picture has to be the plot. Without getting into too much detail, No Time to Die's narrative jumps around and is damn absurd. Just compare Spectre for a moment. That one went out of its way to please fans from old. You know, the ones that love the Roger Moore films. Like me. And then there was Skyfall, which was almost a very simple plot compared to this. No Time to Die attempts to be epic and both complex at the same time. And Bond jumps around from so many different plots and locations more than any other film. We have the intrigue of Blofeld, we have Sarif in the shadows, and then we have new double O's. And don't forget we have Felix Leiter as well. This definitely feels like a case of less would have been more, where if we kept the scale smaller and made it more of a personal story, and again had Blofeld just in a cage somewhere, it would have worked much better and been a very different Bond film, much like having M being the quote Bond girl in Skyfall. But these issues aside, No Time to Die sticks the landing for the Craig era, so let's get to the good stuff. And whatever the issues with this one, nobody's gonna have a problem with Daniel Craig, who really cements himself as one of the greatest Bonds of all time. And at this point, if you're gonna rank the Bonds, it really comes down to personal taste. Yes, there would always be the ones that love the classic Connery films, and then there's people that love the goofy Roger Moore films. And of course, some even grew up with Pierce Brosnan. But thanks to the character work here, Craig really stands out from the rest. He's intense, he's charming, he's broken down, and often hilarious at once, with none of this ever standing out. He makes the absolute most of the script he has at hand. And even though Craig had one foot out the door filming this, he was never phoning it in. Though it'll always be disappointing that we never got Danny Boyle to direct a Bond film, Cary Fukunaga really proved himself here. Fukunaga is the first American filmmaker to direct a Bond movie and brings his confidence and style to the forefront to really deliver one of the most slickest movies in the franchise. Fukunaga is also an extremely skilled actors director and in turn pushes the cast to make the most of the material. Even if the script does falter at points, Fukunaga proves himself to be one of the most talented Bond directors yet, and would be lucky to have him back for another film. One of the biggest fears around this film was that traditional fans were going to get pushed aside for a new woke Bond, but thankfully No Time to Die is going to please everyone. In fact, every character has their time to shine, and one of the smartest things producers could have done was bring Phoebe Waller-Bridge on board. She added some much needed polish to the script here, as her witty, self-aware influences can be felt throughout the film. It's clear that Waller-Bridge had the task of help delivering a new contemporary Bond that left his womanizing antics to the past, and when Bond needs to team up with fellow female agents, it's not really about sex anymore, and more, getting the mission done. Because this is more of a personal story, so it just fits. New characters such as Naomi and Paloma are capable agents, rather than a one-time hookup. And almost all the female characters in this film feel substantial, rather than just part of the furniture. 007 is still witty and has humour, but it's more tasteful now. And it's sure to rub some fans the wrong way, but honestly, this is one of the best cases of this in cinema today. Trust me, this doesn't stand out and it's well written, and nothing of Bond feels compromised here. No Time to Die might not deliver the same thrills as Casino Royale and Skyfall, but nevertheless it's one of the most impressive action-packed entries in the franchise. The extended runtime gives Fukunaga the floor to serve up some elaborate deep dish set pieces that really stand out as some of the best in Bond history, from the motorcycle chase early on in the film to the wood sequence that feels eerily like a horror film, and finally the climactic moments with the big band. The tension never really lets up, and yet this one still feels grounded and gritty, even though it delves a little bit into science fiction at times. If anything, No Time to Die puts Fukunaga on the map, so don't be shocked if you see him directing a lot more big budget films down the line. And though No Time to Die is absolutely Daniel Craig's show, the film affords a lot of space for its massive ensemble cast to grow and really bring their A-game to the table. And where to begin, really? Laser Doux's Madeline Swan feels like a more competent character this time, more than just being their inspector. And Lashana Lynch's Naomi is actually quite a fun character here as well, and by no means as annoying as the trailers might have portrayed her. They really did her a disservice in those. And Ana de Armas really shines as well. Her scenes are a joy to watch, and we really don't get enough of her in this one. Hopefully her character's one that could return. Ben Whishaw is once again a hoot as Q, and Jeffrey Wright is a welcome to return to the cast as Felix Leiter. But of course we can't forget Ralph Fiennes as M, who adds such new direction to the character. I just can't wait to see what he does from here. The only real miss among the cast is Naomi Harris, who is really relegated to the desk. Yes, this is more of the Moneypenny of old, but yet for a more updated age. And as well as the cast killing it, so does Hans Zimmer. He's basically the dream choice to score a Bond film, and he totally delivers with this one. Zimmer ingeniously blends the classic brassy Bond themes of old with his own flair, really giving this one a grand feel. And better yet, he's inspired by Lou Armstrong's We Have All the Time in the World, and uses the leitmotif throughout the film, really tying this one all together for a highly nostalgic yet emotional effect. Zimmer brought his A-game to No Time to Die, and the result is one of the most memorable Bond scores yet. And with that, No Time to Die is by far one of the best Bond films out there, but it's one of the most satisfying send-offs we've ever had. While most other Bonds have just disappeared into the ether, Daniel Craig gets some real respect here, and everything he's done so far has been wrapped up. And sure, the 5-film arc was messy at times, but this actually worked in a way. Look, with the Bond franchise comes a lot of baggage, and this isn't gonna work for everyone. I even found myself at times not knowing whether I liked something or not, but by the end it won me over as best it could. This is a proper farewell to Daniel Craig, but thankfully, James Bond will return. And so that's our review of No Time to Die. Did you like this one or not? Let us know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And while you're down there, let us know your favourite Bond film, and follow us at WhatCulture on Twitter, and follow me at Ben Roy Turner, and on Instagram as well, why not? Anyway, until next time, I've been Ben Roy, and I'll catch you later.